Hi, it's January 27th, 2017. Welcome to the Weekly Splash. I'm Brian Payton Joyner.
I'm Donna Carol Voss.
And I tell you, Donna, President Trump has not even been in office for a week. And already he's done so many things to piss off my side. But you won the coin toss, so you get to go first. What is under your skin this week?
Well, I'm so happy with what he's done this week. I'm so thrilled. But what got under my skin this week was the Women's March last Saturday. The reason I am irked about the Women's March is that A, it was embarrassing to be a woman that day with Ashley Judd in her nasty, dirty underwear and Madonna dumb as a rock threatening to blow up the White House.
Out of
That
context, out of
was
context.
no, that was embarrassing. It was also just infuriating that the real feminists wouldn't let the pro-life feminists sponsor the event because they expect us to trade one jailer, men, for another jailer, them, the real feminists, who are the arbiters of what the only acceptable thought and behavior is. So that pissed me off, ticked me off. And then the thing that really, 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 really got me is that they're talking about being oppressed with full bellies, right? And very, 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 very nice, comfortable lives, no matter who they are. And meanwhile, over in Iraq, some Yazidi girl is being auctioned off as a sex slave for ISIS. And there's 200 million women alive today, girls and women alive today, who've undergone female genital mutilation. And so, the real oppression is in countries that treat women like animals, dumb beasts to be used and abused by men.
Okay, well, first off, I think it was a phenomenal event. I had a couple friends that went. They said it was an amazing time. They felt really empowered as a result of that. They said it was very inclusive. They had a wonderful time. And I can tell you, back in 1993, I was just coming out. I went to the March on Washington for gay and lesbian rights. Coming out of that changed me as a person because I sort of felt for the first time in my life that I wasn't alone and that there were a lot of other people like me and that we really had the possibility to do something. And, at that time we had Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Gays couldn't get married. Sodomy was still illegal and you could, be criminalized. Now, yeah, there are people getting thrown off buildings in other countries, but there's nothing as a citizen that I can really do about that. I can't go to Uganda and tell them that they, can't kill people for being gay, but I can go in my country and I can talk to my representatives and I can try and make change happen here. And, there were some crazies at the march who were doing all sorts of things. And, maybe Ashley Judd didn't speak to you. Maybe Madonna didn't speak to you. But there were some women there that they did speak to in that regard. And I think you had a lot of different voices. And,
All that dropped the F bomb because that's all the vocabulary they had.
well, no one has ever accused Madonna of being classy. And they'll
Or
probably
any
take my gay card
speakers.
for that. But, I think she says some ridiculous things. And I read the transcript of her entire speech. I think she was just expressing some general anger. And it was stupid what she said. She shouldn't have said that. But, she's not the president of the United States. I think Trump tweets worse things on a daily basis than, some of the things that were said on there. I read what Ashley Judd had said in the poem that she, kind of read that was written by that person, that young girl. And, I didn't take offense at that.
It's not. Well, I think they were so stupid to give Trump that much power. I mean, if he was cocky, pardon the pun, when he was making lewd comments to Billy Bush, how much more cocky is he now that bazillions of women are brought to a fevered emotional pitch by him? I just think so stupid to react to just him. And you say, okay, it was so inclusive. Well, then what is the outcome? And just talking to representatives in this country, no, these people were going to vote for Hillary Clinton, who actually took money from countries where they are throwing homosexuals off roofs, where young girls are auctioned as sex slaves. So it ticks me off that white middle class, even American feminists are like, yeah, we are oppressed when they just they do nothing. They don't even talk about it. They don't even talk about it. They don't even
Well,
remind
so
people.
I mean, by your analogy, just because if we have people who are homeless or hungry in this country, they're not as bad as the homeless and the
That's right.
hungry in another country. So we
That's
shouldn't
right.
worry about the ones in this country. We should be worrying about the ones in other country. I mean,
No, I'm saying,
where's your America first
how do you get this?
mentality?
How do you get this? What I'm saying
Where's your
is,
America first mentality? Let's take care of our problems here. And there are problems here.
hello. What I'm saying is, we can't just pretend that we have it worse than anybody else. I think if we were to acknowledge, hey, we have it better than any woman in the world, and we need to make improvements, nobody argues with that. But to whine and complain, uh, because Donald Trump called Hillary Clinton nasty, really? That's what you do with your life? Let's at least acknowledge when we have these feminist gatherings, let's at least acknowledge that what we do will trickle down, perhaps, that we need to keep in mind our sisters around the world, and to say, come on, what we call oppression is inconvenience or annoyance. He called us nasty. And you know what? Women who think men don't talk like that about us when they're in private are idiots. Your husband may not tell you the truth, but that's what they do.
Well,
That's what they do. That's what they do.
I don't think they talk about sexual assault. But anyway, that's not what. Let me talk about what really got under my skin this week, and that was sort of President Trump's tweet, mind you, that with regards to terrorism, we need to fight fire with fire. One of the problems I had with that was no one had any idea what exactly that meant. One concern obviously is, are we going to, do like Ted Cruz suggested and carpet bomb innocent civilians? Are we going to engage in these enhanced interrogation techniques that we had under George W? One is nobody knows what that means. And the problem that I have is if it means one of those two things is I don't think we're at the point in the war with ISIS where we need to be wiping out entire cities in these Middle Eastern countries. I think that's going to be far counterproductive. And we've already seen people using Trump in their promotional videos to recruit more people into ISIS. So it's counterproductive. And I think the same thing is true on these enhanced interrogation tactics. I think they're counterproductive. When we've looked at, these things, and the Senate did a study, I think in 2014, they grabbed 119 people that had been picked up by the CIA, and they subjected 39 of them to torture. Well, they didn't get any more information from them than they did from the other people that they sort of tried to Stockholm syndrome, where they tried to be really good and try and talk to them and exchange this for that. So I don't think that these enhanced interrogation techniques, fighting fire with fire, makes us no better than the terrorists.
Well, I saw the interview, not just the tweet, but the interview where Donald Trump said that. And what he said was, in my opinion, torture works, but I will defer to General Mattis. And General Mattis is against it. So I don't know why you care so much whether he says he's for it. I'm for enhanced interrogation.
But on what basis does he say that it works if everyone else says it doesn't? That's my concern with Donald Trump.
That's like your parents say, if everyone jumping off a bridge, would you do it too? Who cares that everyone else says it? Not everyone else says it doesn't work. Nobody is like, it's not a 97% consensus of all smart people.
But let me ask you this. So if he says, I think it works, but I'll defer to someone else, why doesn't he just talk to that person? And that person says he doesn't think it works. I don't understand the logic of his tactics.
Because that's not going to be his MO as a president. He's not fooling anyone that he's going to do deep dives into every issue so that he's speaking with the same voice as General Mattis. He's going to go, yeah, I think it's okay, but I hired him, or I nominated him to do the work. That's fine with me. That's fine with me.
So do you think at some point President Trump, and I won't air quote that ever again, will start acting presidential, or do we have a new era in how a president is going to act?
Well, I think if Jim Acosta is going to yell at him over and over and over at a press conference, let's not talk about acting presidential. Besides which, if President Obama is the reference...
No. Hey, listen, here's the rule. If I ask you a question about Trump, you can't talk about Hillary, you can't talk about Obama. You either talk about Trump or you don't know the answer. Okay. Let's establish that as a ground rule.
Yes.
My question is on President Trump.
I think he's acting presidential, and this is why. When Jim Acosta was yelling at him, that had to have been one of the top two most stressful situations of Trump's life. He was being accused of gross and disgusting sexual practices in front of his wife and his children. Even if they were true or not, still so awful. He finds out that people within his own government are trying to humiliate him by leaking it. And then he's got this reporter yelling at him at a press conference. Did he say vulgar things? Did he swear? Did he lose his cool? No. What he did was say, don't be rude. Don't be rude. Don't be rude. No, I'm not giving you a question. You're fake news. That's good enough for me. That's pretty awesome. If he can control himself in that situation, I think his learning curve is very, very steep. He'll get better and better. That's what he does. He's very good at getting better at what he does. That's why he's Donald Trump.
Well, I don't know what else to say about that. I guess the jury's still out and time will tell. I can't wait till we get together again next week because I know I will have more ammunition as to why he's not presidential. And I tell you, I'd be very happy if you could say, you were right, and he's actually gotten better in the last week. So,
well, have no doubt. I will.
All right. Thanks,
All right.
Donna. I appreciate it. This is Brian Payton Joyner
Donna Carol Voss
with your weekly splash for January 27th, 2017.